You know that moment you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm getting back on track. You even feel motivated. You plan it in your head to go to gym, do a home workout, or maybe even a walk. And then tomorrow comes. You wake up, you feel a little tired, maybe a little off, and suddenly you don't feel like it anymore. So you skip the workout. And then later, you start feeling guilty. And after a while, it starts to feel like, why can't I just stay consistent? Why am I so lazy? But the truth is, it's not that you're lazy. You're relying on motivation to do something that requires a system. Let me show you what I mean. A while ago, I noticed a pattern in myself. Every time I felt motivated, I would go all in. I would do long workouts, strict routines, and have big plans. And it could work for a few days. But the moment I felt tired, busy, or just not in the mood, everything stopped. And I thought the problem was discipline, but it wasn't. The problem was that my routine only worked when I felt like doing it. And that's not consistency, that's motivation. Real consistency looks different. It works even on the days you don't feel like showing up. So the question becomes, how do you make exercise something you actually stick to? First, make it easier than you think. Most people set the bar too high. They think, if I'm working out, it has to be intense. It has to be 45 minutes. It has to be perfect. But your brain hears that and thinks, that's a lot, so it resists. Instead, lower the entry point. Tell yourself, I'll just move for 10 minutes. That's it. Because once you start, something interesting happens. Your energy shifts and your resistance drops. As a result, most of the time, you end up doing more than you actually planned. But even if you don't, you still showed up. And that's what builds consistency. I'll tell you something. Actually, environment matters more than motivation. If your workout depends on you constantly deciding to do it, you'll always be fighting yourself. So make it easier to start. If you usually go to the gym, then pack your bag the night before and make sure you put it somewhere you can see it first thing in the morning. If you usually work out at home, all you need is to set up a small space and then keep your mat or equipment visible. This is because every time you remove friction, you increase the chances of showing up. Now let's talk about something deeper. Identity. Most people say, I'm trying to work out, but saying that keeps it optional. Instead, shift to saying, I'm someone who moves my body regularly. This changes how you act because now it's not about motivation, it's about alignment. And here's the part that really changes everything. You need a low energy version of your routine because there'll be days when you feel genuinely tired, unmotivated, maybe even a little lazy. And this is very normal. So instead of skipping your workout completely, have a backup plan. For example, if you can't do a full gym session, go for a 15-minute walk, or do light stretching, or a short home workout. This keeps the habit alive, and that matters more than intensity. Because consistency isn't built on your best days. It's built on the days you almost didn't show up. Now let's be real for a second. You're not always going to feel motivated. Even people who love fitness don't feel like it sometimes. The difference is they don't rely on how they feel to decide what they do. They've made it part of their routine. So instead of asking, do I feel like working out? Try asking, what's the smallest thing I can do today? This question changes everything because it removes pressure and makes starting easier. And once you start, you've already won. If you've been struggling to stay consistent, don't try to push harder or wait for motivation. Build something that works even when you don't feel like it, because that's what lasts. I'd love to know, what usually stops you from working out? Time, energy, motivation? Let me know in the comments. And if you want simple, realistic ways to stay consistent without burnout, make sure you subscribe. Because fitness shouldn't feel like a cycle you keep restarting. It should feel like something you can actually stick to.